Hi guys, I saw this video about this guy who disagrees with people who say that gaming isn't fun, and I agree with him because I also think that gaming is still fun, and people are just totally losing their freaking minds with it. So let's watch it.
Have you guys seen the videos where people say gaming isn't fun anymore? If you got
Oh yeah.
recommended this video, you probably have. Does anybody else hate them? Because I do. If you don't know what I'm talking about,
People have this weird concept that the world is them. People believe that whenever they feel something, that thing is true universally across everywhere because the world is so tailored to you now, because the algorithm shows you things that agree with you consistently and constantly. So you start to think gaming isn't fun anymore because of a whole variety of factors. You've gotten older, you have less time to do it. Gaming is one of those hobbies that takes a lot of time. You have to sink in a lot of your energy in order to um, you have to sink in a lot of your energy in order for it to reward you. It's not usually something that you can just jump in and do it and it feels good immediately. Gaming is best 3 to 4 hours into gaming, especially with a game that you just started playing. You have to get used to the new controls, you have to get to where you need to go, and then you have to play it. And a lot of people think that because they're not having fun with gaming anymore, that means it's not fun, period. And then it gets this bad rap around it.
these videos all go a little something like this. Fellas, you ever boot up Minecraft and walk around for 10 minutes, pet your dog, but then you just exit the game. You open GTA 5, drive around with no aim, but you just get bored and close the game. You scroll through all of your favorite games on the PS5, COD, FIFA.
I did this literally last night on Elden Ring. I beat Morgat. I was at him 3 minutes of play, beat Morgat, and then just logged out.
NBA, Minecraft, GTA, but none of them pop out to you like they used to. Then you turn off the PS5 and lay in bed scrolling on TikTok. You saved up all this money so that you can buy a fancy PC or a console, but now you don't have the desire to play any games. Gaming isn't fun anymore. You get the point.
Let me pitch an idea to you real quick. So gaming can stop being fun to you because you don't have the time to do it. And a lot of the reason that you might not have the time to do it is because you took out some kind of loan to purchase this gaming PC or this video game console, and then ironically, you don't have any time to use that because you have to use all of your free time to work extra hours so that you can pay off the loan that you took out to buy that gaming console or
These
PC.
videos are a real epidemic. I've seen
happened
countless
to
of
me
them on
before.
YouTube.
That's how I know.
I've seen them on TikTok, and every time I see one of these, I cringe. No hate to the creators, obviously, but the statement, gaming isn't fun anymore, is something I completely disagree with.
Me
I
too.
have watched many videos titled, "Video games aren't fun anymore," "The real reason gaming isn't fun anymore," etc.
Yeah.
They all basically say the same few things. The first and most common thing is that
They're
the
all the same.
creators all mention how they don't have the drive to play video games anymore.
Oh.
They all mention booting up their console or Steam library and just scrolling through everything. Scrolling without purpose, and nothing jumps out at them. The videos all mention booting up an old favorite such as Minecraft or GTA, but
Yeah.
not finding as much enjoyment as they once did all those years ago. Another very common problem that people
Well, a big part of the reason for that is because if you're playing a game that you've already played a whole bunch and you're starting over on it, especially by nature of the process, you won't find anything new or interesting to do until you push past the point that you had already gotten to in that game, unless it's a nostalgia game that you've played a whole bunch in the past and it's been so long since you've done the early game that you don't even remember what that's like. But for something like Minecraft or GTA, if you're only doing things that you've done before and you've done them a whole bunch recently, you're not going to have fun when you log into those games and just start playing.
have is spending a lot of time saving up for a PC or a console, but then once they get it, they don't actually want to play anything. They used to have all these dreams of what it would be like once they finally get a good PC, but then don't end up using it once they have it. Overall, these people are just bored. They no longer enjoy the things they used to love, and they aren't having fun with the games that they're choosing to play. However, here is my issue with it. The people making these videos extrapolate their unique problems to gaming as a whole.
So their brain's kind of messed up. And this happens a lot of time to a lot of us. A lot of us don't have a purpose in life for the things that we do. We see other people doing things and we think that We think that their life must be the way that it is because of the things that they do, but they have chosen the things that they do because their life is the way that it is. It's backwards. So we try to imitate the way their life is, so we try to imitate the things that they do to make our lives look more like their lives. But you're not going to have their life. It's different than yours. It'll never be like theirs. So all you've done is created this sort of necessity for you to have these things because someone you saw on the internet has those things. And it's never going to make you happy. This is such a well-known thing in the past and nowadays has really fallen out of vogue. The idea that items do not make you happy. I have nice lights, a nice camera, I have a pretty good computer. I got all of these things because I had a purpose for them, because I've been working on creating content for years and years. They weren't there to make me happy. They didn't make me able to make the content. I gave myself those abilities over time. I discovered why I needed these objects. I found these objects that I would need specifically. I put the system together, and now I run that system. My life became the way that necessitated the things to be in it. And that's a whole different vibe. It gives me so much more enjoyment to play a game when I know that it's influencing my brain to help me figure out things to talk about in these videos or content to create with them. And that is such a better way to live your life because you have a purpose for doing the things that you do. You pick out the games that you want to play based off of the purpose that you have for those games. And sometimes that purpose can just be having fun. I played Elden Ring about a week ago for, 60 hours just because I wanted to. I didn't film any content for it. I didn't make any videos about Elden Ring, but I had a purpose for doing that. And that's what made it fun.
They say, I'm not having fun playing Call of Duty, therefore
Call of
all
Duty's-
video
yeah.
games aren't fun anymore. It's such a blanket statement, and I think that's what annoys me the most about the videos. The thing that people always say in the comments is, we grew up, bro. And this is the dumbest response that I see all the time. It's part of life, man. You're supposed to grow up and not like video games anymore.
That's not true.
The caption of this TikTok said, just maturing, I guess. Huh. And this is simply not true.
Yeah.
I think the obvious cause for their boredom is a lack
That's a early 20s thing. Of course you're not going to play video games in your early 20s. Your life is so filled to the brim with way more exciting things than video games. There is way more interesting stuff to do in your early 20s. You're experiencing relationships for the first time. You're getting out there and going to college for the first time. You're getting out into the real world for the first time. There's a billion things to learn that you haven't figured out yet. You're living in the video game, brother. That's what's happening. So it's drawing your attention away from them. The same thing happened to me. I didn't play video games from the time I was 19 until the time that I was 24-ish. I started playing Dark Souls, and then that pulled me back into the whole video game realm again, and the pandemic happened, and I was latched like crazy, absolutely hooked back in. But as you get older, you'll want your hobbies back. You'll throw them all away in search of this maturing life, work a job thing. You'll get there, and then you'll figure out that that's not what you want, and you'll pull your hobbies back in because you want to do what you find is interesting and entertaining.
a variety. OMG, who saw that coming? Yes, if you play the same game for 10 years straight, you will get bored.
Yeah, totally.
I don't think I'm generalizing when I say that 90% of the people who make these videos are all playing the same 5 games.
Yeah.
They don't try anything new, and they're always talking about Minecraft or Call of Duty. Like in this video. The guy closes 3 games to make his point about gaming being boring. The games that he closes are
the
COD,
same game.
Fortnite, and Minecraft.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, well,
these
Minecraft's
games are all
different.
fine. I have nothing against them. I personally have so many hours on Fortnite and Minecraft.
Yeah.
But if you only play them multiple hours a day,
Man, Fortnite has been a blast over the past month. Me and some of my friends got into it. I had a Minecraft server with some friends a couple years back too. Those games are really, really fun. Legitimately. Especially if you have good friends to play them with who are good at the game. The adventures you can have in Minecraft, buddy. You find a good ravine.
for years on end, of course, gaming is going to get boring. Minecraft is like 12 years old. I've been playing for over a decade, and yeah, my enjoyment of the game right now is not as high as it was several
you
years
messed-
ago.
go back and fix
which
those,
is
please.
fine.
You're
The
freaking
thousands
me
of
out.
hours that I spent on it were well spent. Nowadays, I just don't feel like playing Minecraft as much as I used to. Instead, I play a wider variety of games, and it stops me from getting bored of a single one.
Totally.
There are so many different types of games out there. There are genres that
This Resident Evil remake isn't my favorite one, but Resident Evil 2 remake is so good. I can play that game over and over and over again.
you may have never tried. Despite my thumbnail and title, I actually really like Strixo's video on the topic. At the end he says, I used to only play FPS games, but since I started trying other genres, I found gaming fun again. And he's right. Variety is the spice of
That's the thing that I try to press on people so much, and something that I'm really lucky that happened to me young, is that I was always into a huge variety of games. I came out into gaming in a time where you were into varieties because there wasn't a whole lot of really good one type of games. First-person shooters hadn't taken over the market yet. I grew up on Spyro and Mega Man, and I grew up on RuneScape, and I grew up on Final Fantasy VII, and I grew up on Chrono Cross, and I grew up on what is that game called? Skull Monkeys. And I grew up on Tomba, and I grew up on Mario, and you just in Kirby, and you just played all these games in Contra because there was just not that many of a type of game that was really, really common. RPGs were the closest thing, and that's definitely what I played the most of, and you can still see that that's where my love sits and stands. But so many kids nowadays just grow up thinking that games are League of Legends, Fortnite, Call of Duty, and some kind of survival game like Minecraft or Rust or something like that.
life. To any of you out there who aren't finding video games fun anymore, this would be my biggest piece of advice to you. Try something new. If you only play online shooters, maybe try something different like a Metroidvania. If you only play platformers, maybe try out an RPG. If you only play fighting games, maybe try a visual novel. And if you only play visual novels, maybe try reading a book. I don't know, you might like it. Also, I think that a lot of people restrict themselves to multiplayer games. They only play what the boys are playing, which is also fine. But once again, variety is the spice of life, and I think that playing single-player games from time to time will keep you
And I'm a weirdo because I play multiplayer games single player. That's one of my favorite ways to play multiplayer games. I love it just being me. I love it just being me against the elements, bro. I played World of Warcraft like that. I played RuneScape like that. I don't use a mic. I just sit there in silence by myself, and I just try to outdo other human beings across the internet who don't even know I'm there.
Interested in gaming. Doing this will make gaming fun and also give you something to play when the boys are not online. Another major reason that people claim video games don't hit the same anymore is because modern games aren't as good as older ones. There are two sides to this argument. The first being that games back in the day had a different feel to them. There was a sense of childlike discovery, and you didn't already know everything about a game.
Eternal Sonata was a good game.
People argue that with the internet, we now see so many reviews, trailers, and spoilers online. We see all of this before we even have the chance to fully experience the game for ourselves, and this ruins the sense of discovery. First of all, that sense of childlike discovery probably came from the fact that you were a child.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks back fondly on the games they played when they were a kid. You were young and hadn't really played many other video games, so the one
There is a thing that happens as you get older and you play a lot of video games that your brain starts to connect the dots of what systems are going on in what game. Who's had this experience where you log into a game that you've never played before and you play for about 45 minutes, and within that 45 minutes you have already anticipated what mechanics the game is going to throw at you, and you sort of know where they're all placed. This happens a lot, especially if you play gacha games or like Hoyo games. Those all have the exact same mechanics, and you know what you're doing before you even start playing a new gacha game. Same with MMORPGs. If you've played one tab targeting MMO, you've sort of played them all. The worlds are going to be different, the NPCs are going to be different, the storyline is going to be different, but you know that you're going to have cooldowns, you know you're going to have AoEs, you know you're going to have a tank, a healer, and 2 or 3 DPS in your dungeon group. You know that, don't pull large groups of enemies if the team can't handle it. Oh, this is going to be the part where we're all going to stay against the wall and go through. Your brain starts to put all this together. And what you have to realize at some point is that we're doing it for the love of the game, dude. We're doing it to get those 2% increases in our capabilities at this point. We're not doing it because we want to have wild or childlike wonder. We're doing it because we want to be better. Now, you can play games that are absolutely off the wall. I saw Charlie recently play a game where you're literally clicking a clicker for a cuckold, and I just thought, this is nuts. This is insane that this is a game that we made, the Cuckold Simulator 5000. That's really cool and interesting. And there's been plenty of games like that over the years that I've discovered. If you've never played Tomba 2, it's an old PlayStation 1 game. You can emulate it really easily. Go back and play Tomba 2. That game is incredibly forward-looking, and nothing ever did it as well as it did. It is a side-scrolling platformer that's in 2.5D. So you turn the camera and you can go different directions. and it has a fully fleshed out quest system with tons of side quests that give you extra gear, different equips that you can use. There's no real leveling system other than you can upgrade your health meter, but it's an incredible game that's unlike anything else, and it'll make you have that feeling.
Ones that you did play all seemed amazing.
You jump on pigs and you throw them into other pigs. It's dope.
Everything
It's
was
so
new
good.
and fresh to you. I have some games which I love, but that I haven't played in a long time. Part of the reason I reminisce on them so lovingly is because of nostalgia. They probably have a lot of flaws that I
Eternal
didn't
Sonata
notice
was a lot of fun.
or didn't care about, because I was a kid. It's unfair to call all modern games bad because of your sense of nostalgia for games you enjoyed as a child. And as for the spoilers on the internet, those are entirely self-inflicted. Being spoiled for things sucks, but complaining about seeing too many reviews or knowing too much about the game from trailers, that's kind of on you. You don't have to watch the reviews.
No.
You can also just watch one trailer and then decide to avoid.
Well, I mean, to a degree, it's sort of hard now with people constantly flipping up on an algorithm on their phone and just going to the next video. I mean, if you haven't seen the fact that there's a boss from Elden Ring in the new DLC, then I would be shocked at this point.
all subsequent ones. If you
Spoilers.
loved Spider-Man and you're excited for Spider-Man 2, you know that you're gonna get it anyways. Just don't watch any content online and you won't get spoiled. You can even mute the keywords.
There is something to the fact that old games felt different than new games, though. New games, by and large, have this weird element to them of being really flashy, but not having a whole bunch of interesting mechanics built into the game that aren't overwhelming. Back in the day, a game could be very simple in its nature, but very complicated in the perfection of that simplicity. So the person who developed the game, made a very simple game that had an extremely high skill ceiling. RuneScape is a really good example of this. Mega Man Legends is a really good example of this. If you guys remember Mega Man Legends, Tomba is another good really example of this. I already talked about that game. But Mega Man Legends had this interesting crafting system and a dungeon diving system, and then a control scheme that was kind of difficult to get down, but very simple in the way that it worked. It was sort of tank controls, and you got all these movement abilities that you could use. And that game was really, really difficult to get to the end of, and really tried your patience in a lot of ways. But the systems were just so addictive in it that it kept you going the whole time. And nowadays, there's not a whole lot of games like that. It's weird the way that one studio will make a game like Dark Souls, and then every studio just goes, this is what we're doing from now on. And so then you get this feeling of, I've played this game before. I'm going to roll and I'm going to get iframes. I'm going to wait until he swings, and then I'm going to roll through it, and then I'm going to find out the rhythm of his swings. I'm going to iframe through all those, and I'm going to hang to the left and circle strafe around him and hit him in his butt. You've played him.
So that you don't accidentally get a spoiler from someone you follow. The other reason that people think
I'm gonna
old
put some
games
filters
are
on this
better
channel, bro.
is because modern gaming has ruined video games. I'm talking about loot boxes, I'm talking about battle passes, I'm talking about soulless AAA games, stretched out gameplay, and games being broken on launch. This trend of problematic microtransactions and broken games selling for full price is an actual issue. So I agree with you guys here. This trend in gaming is definitely stinky poo-poo. However, once again, saying that the current state of gaming has ruined video games is another blanket statement that simply isn't correct. It is true that more and more games seem to be unfinished on release, but this isn't true for every game. There are so many fun indie games that have been released in a great state with lots of content, no in-game purchases, none of that shit. Maybe most modern AAA games are trash, but not all modern games are garbage. This year alone, there have been a bajillion awesome games. Like, go play Homebody. It came out earlier this year, and that game rules. It's a classic survival horror game that really focuses on the puzzles. It's super fun, and it feels like an escape room. Or Hi-Fi Rush, which came out in January.
Oh, dude, this game looks
You have to
really,
smack
really good
all the
too.
robot baddies to the rhythm of the background music in
Hi-Fi
a
Rush
bright
at some
and
point.
vibrant
Looks really,
world.
really nice.
And hey, if you really think that older games are just better, you
Go
can
play 'em.
always go and play them.
Yeah.
They're not gonna go away.
There's nothing stopping you. The problem is that people have this weird ego about the fact that they feel like that their game needs to fit some kind of new current meta, that they're missing out if they're not playing what everyone is talking about. It's the game of the month club, you know? You go and when, Armored Core 6 comes out and everyone feels like they have to play Armored Core 6 and they play it for a little bit and then it goes away. And then Helldivers comes out and everyone feels like they have to play Helldivers. And deep down, it's because they know that these games probably aren't something that they're going to want to play if nobody's talking about it anymore, that they don't actually have anything that really appeals to them. They just want to be in on that conversation and sort of know what all the memes on their phone are about. And that can be fun for a while, but at some point you really have to figure out what it is that you enjoy about your specific hobby, and then you have to sort of hunt down those things. And I think that for me, gaming has become this sort of trial by fire thing that I like to do to myself. Not only do I don't really want to play hard games, but I want to play games that challenge me to sort of figure them out in an interesting kind of way. I enjoyed playing the new Hoyoverse game because I liked how quickly I could just get through that game after having played other Hoyoverse games. I enjoy playing RuneScape because it always keeps me trying to figure out how can I use my own brain to solve this problem in a way that really appeals to me, because most of the time when you watch guys out there, the things that they do are just not things that I want to do. I like games like that press me. I like playing Fortnite because I like to put myself in these high intensity situations with other people and see how far I can push myself into being able to foil out other people who are better than me. I think it's fun. That's what I like about them. I like that sort of me versus the elements aspect of it, because you don't get that a whole lot in life.
If you believe that video games aren't fun anymore, maybe revisit the old games that you loved. Hopefully you can find joy in it.
I just love that Eternal Sonata is an old game. I know it is. I know that the Xbox 360 came out when I was 10 years old, but I think of this as being a new game, It looks like this. These graphics look really good to me. They're HD. Old games were not in HD. I mean, they're not pixelated like hell in that, It doesn't look like Turok, so... Oh man, it makes me feel like an old man.
That you loved about gaming. In the end, the statement that gaming isn't fun anymore is a personal experience, not a universal truth. It's easy to fall into the trap of nostalgia, or blame the entire gaming industry for a few negative trends.
For your own narcissism.
Instead of playing the same old games, try new things. Check out some indie games, or revisit your old favorites. If you start to feel burnt out, or find that you're not having fun, it might be a good idea to take a break. Pursue other hobbies.
Yeah.
Do something else in the meantime. And when you return, you might find that gaming is even more enjoyable than ever before.
No, thank you.
If you want to get some bonus content while also supporting me, then the link to my Patreon is in the description. For just a few American dollars, you can get monthly videos where I talk about the games that I beat each month. September's video is up there right now, and October's video should be out in a couple days. So if you sub, you can watch those right away and hear me talk about all the games that I beat. You will also get ad-free early access to every upload, and your name displayed at the end of videos. You'll get access to all my scripts, including my notes and any paragraphs that didn't make it into the video. I'll also be posting on there to keep patrons updated on future projects. Along with the monthly bonus videos, it's also a great way to support me and buy me a monster. Click the link in the description to check it out. Thank you very much to my patron Swag Froggy for supporting the channel. If you want to hear me talk some more about video games in the future, then consider subscribing. Thank you for watching.
Good for you, dude. I hope you get your monsters. This is a cool video. I like his opinions on it. I feel the same way. I'm sort of getting over the idea of being cynical. I mean, I'm still very, very cynical, obviously, but I just keep telling myself this new thing where I think, what's the point? What am I doing with being so cynical that's actually going to help anything? There is no method out that is going to help that comes from me sitting around and saying, oh, woe is me, I lost my tail. I don't want to be that guy anymore. And I have a great time gaming. I have a great time doing everything in life. There's all this sort of sensation in it that is really good. And I think that if you're stuck in this place where you're having a hard time finding the joy and the fun in life anymore, like that's a thing that you really need to think about why it's happening to you. And you've got to solve that problem, because I promise you, it's not the world, it's you. And you have this thing weighing on you, and it's inside of you, and you have to get it out of you. You're the only one who can do it, no matter what it's about, whether it's about your job, whether it's about your hobbies, whether it's about your financial situation, whether it's about your fitness levels, no matter what it's about, it's all on you. No one else is going to do it for you. And that's the sad, part of the truth. But, it is what it is. It's a great video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for watching. Peace.